Hello, and welcome to Knowing Me, Knowing You with Paula, the YouTube channel. Here at KMKY, we often dive deep into topics that impact our everyday lives. In this episode, you will meet Ganesh V, a software engineer. He is an author of a very interesting fictional book entitled Let Me Into Heaven. What particularly caught my eye when I first read about my guest is that he asks thought-provoking questions such as, what is the meaning of the second coming of Christ? And he also has profound perspectives to share on the topic, exploring how science and faith can coexist.
If someone asked me a question, why do you believe in God?
Yeah.
Right? What would be the basis of my answer? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And people have lots of different answers. The most common answer you will hear is, this is what my family believed in and this is what I believed in, right? But I had kind of already moved away from that when I became an atheist. So I was looking for something more founded in truth and to be honest, founded in science. I wanted it to make scientific sense, right? And so what intrigued me was the creation of the universe, right? Or where did the universe come from, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a really interesting story about how, people thought the universe has always been around, right? The only ones who disagreed with that view is, uh, Jews and Christians, because the first sentence in the Bible is, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, which says there is a beginning in time, right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't until Einstein proposed his general theory of relativity, and which he had to fudge his physics to keep the universe at a constant size. And others started to point out over a 10-year period, they actually pointed an expanding universe. And he hated the theological implications of it. He later called it his biggest blunder. But because, if a universe is expanding, then you go back in time at some point, it was a singularity. It's a dot. It's less than a dot. There's nothing,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then it begs the question, how did it start off? Because nothing existed before that, right? There's a finite time in the past when things were created, when things came into existence, right?
Yeah.
How did that happen? And so here's my analogy. This here is a little bang,
Yeah.
right? What caused the little bang
Yeah.
was me slapping the table with my hand, right?
Yeah.
Well, what caused the big bang, right?
Yeah.
I think if we say nothing, it just happened on its own, that's not a satisfactory explanation,
No,
right?
not
Right?
satisfactory for me.
Yeah. Or me, right? And so the little bang was because I, a free mind, chose to slap my hand on the table. I could have chosen not to, but I chose to do that. My opinion, then Big Bang points to an intelligent mind who had the choice to create or not to create and chose to create the universe and started it off in motion, right? So I think the beginning of the universe is strong evidence for a creator. It's true of the beginning of life as well. What is the origin of life, right?
Yeah.
What is the origin of information in the DNA, right? We think we have a 26 letter alphabet. The DNA has a 4-letter alphabet, and there's a whole story written on each strand of DNA. Uh, the only source of information we've ever seen is an intelligent mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, uh, if there is a blank canvas in my room,
Yes.
right, and I leave my room, come back 2 hours later, and I see a masterpiece on that blank canvas, right?
Yeah.
Something recognizable. I'm not talking about modern art where we don't know what it means, but something.
You have to step back a couple of times, go, I'm not quite sure what that is. Turn your
Right,
head up and down.
right.
Yeah.
But something recognizable, even it could be symbolic, but something recognizable could be, let's say it's a Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
I can infer from that an artist had come and painted on that canvas. I don't need to see the artist to know that there was an artist,
Yes.
right? And the DNA is like that. It's a work of art. And you look at that and say, where did this come from,
Yeah.
right? And now, if it's a bunch of squiggly lines on the canvas, I could say it happened randomly, right? But not when it's something recognizable as a masterpiece, right? So, and that's so when you start going through all of that, you say there is a scientific basis to infer that there was an intelligent mind who created these things.